Hey audience, this is MGTOW Jesus. Just playing a little Hearthstone here since I'm currently unemployed, got nothing else better to do, thanks to the feminist world we live in. And so I'm going to take this opportunity to talk some more. Since they've given me all the time in the world I need now, I'll be glad to use it for something good. That's to help other guys out there, other people see the true nature of women and to be aware of these horrifying dichotomy that we live in, this horrifying hypocrisy that we call home. Um, I've mentioned in a few comments that I lost my six-figure income, and thanks to this bullshit. And so I'll go ahead and give the whole story. I will take fault where I am at fault, and I will be 100% honest with everything I say. Because otherwise, what's the point in talking if you can't even be honest, right? So, what happened recently was I was let go of my position with the sales company. I want to keep it's not, well, they haven't fired me yet, but I'll get into that. So I will give credit where it's due to Traeger Wood Pellet Grills. They're not a bad company. In fact, if you ever get a chance to work for them, it will change your life. There's a lot of great money to be made in it. It's a pretty good deal. They hook you up with they fly you to different places. They give you rental vehicles. Everything is paid for, and then you go and you just have responsibility over your own domain, and you make a lot of money, like 20% income from a 20% commission from retail. It's not bad, you know. If you like food, if you like grills, if you like to talk to people about, wood fire briskets and things like that, you can make a lot of money doing it. So I give all my love and credit to Traeger for being an amazing company. Uh, you know, if anybody who worked for Traeger or works in Traeger right now has hears this, understand that I have nothing against the company. I do have something against the company that they're working with, which is Costco. So what had happened recently was the first place I worked, the first show I did was in Wilsonville, Oregon. Um, if you can, avoid that place at all costs. Wilsonville, Oregon, at the Costco there in that town, there's an assistant manager. Her name is Leah. I'll use her name right out there. I don't care, um, because Leah, out of nowhere, came up to me one day, just out of nowhere, walked up to me and said, "I have complaints that you're taking photos of RNG or R&D slips or whatever those are." At that point, I was brand new to the company. I was like, "I haven't taken a photo of anything. What is an R&D slip? I don't even know what that is." Apparently, it's a slip that shows the information of the customer that bought whatever. And she was saying that I was taking photos of people's R&D slips and that it was sensitive information. I told her, I said, you know what? I haven't taken a picture of anything, but I definitely now I know what that is. I won't look at it. I won't, whatever. Well, so she was a little frustrated with me, but whatever. The next day, she storms up to me, touches me on the arm, gets my attention, and says, "I have video evidence of you taking photographs of people's R&D slips." And I immediately came back with, "Okay, may I see those? Can I see it? Can I see this video evidence?" And she just got more frustrated that I guess, didn't believe her at face value or whatever, and proceeded to tell me that she was going to write a complaint. And I said, "Ma'am, do what you have to do." I was like, "But if you have evidence, please, show me." She didn't like that at all. Then she proceeded to say, "Well, I also have two complaints of you harassing some of the female employees here." And I was like, I've just been selling grills this whole time. I don't know what you're talking about." So later that day, she decides to have me brought into her office, where she would then ask me, "Do you know the rules and policies of do you know the rules and sexual harassment policies that we have in place?" And I said, "Well, if they're anything like any other company I've worked for or been at, yes, that I understand that I shouldn't be like trying to ask employees out on dates or anything crazy like that." She was like, "Okay," and I was like, she told me, "You need to stop." What you're doing. And I said, "Ma'am, I don't know what you're talking about. If I have offended someone, if someone feels that I have harassed them in some way, uh, that was not my intention at all, and I completely understand. Basically I was like trying to resolve it. Like, look, if I have ticked somebody off, if I have done something offensive, if I've, you need to let me know. But if that's the case, if I've done these things, understand that it's going to stop. Whatever it is you're talking about, I'm not going to do it. So if you get future complaints, I'm telling you, I'm not doing anything. Anyways, I guess that wasn't good enough for her. So she then decided that since I wasn't basically on my knees begging her for forgiveness, I'm guessing, because I don't know what else to tell you, she went ahead and filed an email to my company telling them that I needed to be gone from the premises as soon as possible, that I was destructive, that I was offending people, that I was being rude, that I was sexually harassing women, and that this is just not what she thought that Traeger would hire. These are just not the caliber of people that she thought they would associate themselves with. Basically making them take a threat of bad reputation if they don't punish me for something nobody knows what the hell she's talking about. Well, anyways, the next day I get a call telling me to go ahead and go back to my hotel, that I'm being sent home. This is my first show. This is my training show where I'm being trained. There's another person present, my trainer. Amazing guy. Absolutely amazing guy. They say, we're going to have to send you home early. And I asked why. They said because of this email that she's sending out, and that now there's 4, possibly 5 complaints from women saying that I've been derogative, that I've been sexually I've been sexually harassing. And I looked at him, I said to him over the phone, I said, well, first it was 2. Then she said to me before I left that there was 3, possibly 4. Since I've been home, it's increased by 1, possibly 2. I was like, when have I had the time to go and sexually harass employees? And he said, well, one of them said that it was a manager that complained against you. And I'm like, and I said to the guy over the phone very calmly, I said, well, just because they hold a management position doesn't mean that they're capable of lying. That they're incapable of lying. It doesn't mean that everything they say is gold. They're still human beings. I asked him, I said, is it not possible that one woman took something out of context or initiated the conversation and then decided to make herself look good in front of everyone else by saying, hey, you know that guy over there that no one knows, that tall, broad-chested, good-looking guy over there, he said something to me that I found offensive. What do you think of that? And everyone's like, oh my gosh, I don't know that guy from Adam. You must be telling the truth because you're a manager. And that's what it is. And he says, well, the guy on the phone was like, well, that actually makes a little bit more sense. I was like, exactly. And he's like, but the thing is, we can't just assume that they're lying. We have to pursue this. And I was like, you've got to do what you got to do. It's your job that's on the line here. You're doing what you think is right. I understand. And it's maddening because it's like I just want to scream at the world and be like, this is freaking ridiculous. But so anyways, this is a pretext to why I get let go. Okay. So this happens. They send me home because this woman has a history with this company of harassing harassing the trainees that come in there, and she doesn't like the Traeger guys in there. That she has this history. They went ahead and give me a second chance, so I have to go to another training show. Go to another show, get trained some more. We knock it out of the park. We have a great show. Everything works out. We have a wonderful time. We break a record. We're feeling pumped. We feel great. Everything's fine. Right? I get back, no problem. Go to my next show. This time I'm working with another guy that just finished training. Right? This is his first show outside of training. This is my first show, quote, technically outside of training, even though I basically had 2 weeks of it. We knock it out. We break records. We have a blast. No one makes a complaint. Everything's fine. Right? Then I go, now I'm on my own. I have my own show. I'm making 100% of the commission. I'm pumped. Right? I'm ready to do this thing. Get out there. I kick ass. I kick ass. So far, no problems. Right near the end of the show, however, some lady makes a complaint saying that I'm being that I had that I was being derogative. And I have a sense of humor, and I thought, okay, maybe something I said that I thought was funny, somebody took the wrong way. Manager comes up, says, "Hey man, I've got this complaint that you said something about your wood or whatever," and I was like, I don't remember what you're talking about, but I can see where somebody might thought I said something because I say, "Hey, we're cooking with wood. Here, watch," and people go, "What? What about wood? Huh?" And they look, and then I bring him into the grill. Now, if someone was hypersensitive and said he said something about wood, and I immediately want to think he said something derogative about wood. So I'm going to make a complaint because I think that he was being sexually derogative towards me without any basis of reality. Okay? So the pitch that I'm trained to do leaves that open. It leaves that possibility that someone might think I said something derogative using the word wood. It's just, when you say you're cooking with wood to someone who's not paying attention, they turn and look at you. It's just psychology. If they hear the word wood, they go, "Wait, what? What about wood?" "Yeah, here, watch." And I show them the grill. They might not even pay attention to me and they might even acknowledge that I said anything to them, but they'll walk away going, "He said something about looking at his wood. That fucking son of a bitch." Like, no, I didn't. I did not. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Anyways, so a lady someone made a complaint, right? He said that you said something about your wood and that they need to keep walking. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, but okay, I'll be careful. So from then on, I stopped, pitching people like that. I literally just stood there and waited for somebody to walk up to me first and say, "Hey, what is this? Is this a smoker? How does this work?" Then I would say, yeah, we actually cook with wood. Here, watch, I'll show you. And you don't need propane or charcoal. Here, check it out. And we go into the whole thing. And I would make sales, but I wasn't making as much sales because I wasn't pitching as many people out of fear that I might offend someone and be sent home again, which would then pretty much merit me being fired. Because at that point, you now have a pattern, right? So now you have a pattern, it's like, son of a... Anyways, so this happens, right? Then later in the show, the day of the end of my show, the last day on my show, somebody makes a complaint. Say somebody, I know exactly who did. Here's the thing. A lady, we'll say in her late 40s, maybe 50, overweight, whatever. Just giving you a description because it's going to matter here in a second. This very unattractive woman, whatever, hits a grill with her cart. Now, I'll explain this. The grills are set up in a booth section. I have them arranged in a way that they don't cross over another lane because people do have carts and I don't want them to run into them, right? Anyways, she decides to go, I guess, make a 14-foot wide left turn off the main lane next to the furniture, next to the yard furniture, and hits my grill. Right? So I'm thinking, oh, okay. Anyway, so she hits the grill, puts a small dent in the hopper, which is where the wood's distributed in. It holds the wood for you as it feeds in with the auger. Anyways, so she damages that slightly, tiny little dent. Keeps walking as if nothing happened. I hear bang. I turn around. I see the dent. I say, "Ma'am, are you okay?" She keeps walking. Slowly, doesn't acknowledge me. Okay. And then I look at the damage and say, "Well, it's all right. It's no big deal. It's just a tiny little dent on a black piece of metal. Whatever. It is what it is." Right? And I say, "Well, ma'am, please be careful next time." And I go on about my day. Right? She then, I guess, goes up front. Now remember, after I told her, "Please be careful next time," I turn and say, "Hey, we're cooking with wood. Here, watch." And I go into a pitch. She, pretending like I don't exist, must have been listening and thought I said to her something about my wood. Right? So now we have this woman who's damaged a $1,000 piece of this was the most expensive grill we had on the shelf. $1,000 piece of equipment. Right? She's damaged a $1,000 piece of equipment. She knows she hit a 999.99, piece of property. It goes up front and says that I said that I wanted her to give me a blowjob in the parking lot. Hey, you, check out my wood. You should suck me off in the parking lot. It was apparently what I said. That's apparently what she's claimed I've said. So the guy comes up to me, this manager, and says, "Look, I already came to you yesterday about what you've been saying to people, and you need to stop. You know, I should send you home right now." And I said, "Whoa, whoa, 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 what are you talking about?" He tells me that some lady made this complaint. And I said, "Was she wearing blue jeans and a blue shirt?" And he goes, "Yes." And I said, "Was she an older woman, blah, blah, blah?" He goes, "Yes." And I was like, "Okay, that person," that person is lying to you. She hit a $1,000 grill. Here's the damage. Go see the footage on the camera that I know you have, because another manager came and said that I stole people's identification, and she has footage of it. Please go look at your cameras." And he says, "We're not going to take the time to look into that." But I was like, and I looked at him and said, "Well, if you're not going to look at the camera to prove that I didn't do these things that you're talking about, then how is it fair that I'm being reprimanded for something like this?" And he says, "Look," he says, "you know what, you got a point. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to let it go, right? But if I hear one more thing, understand that I'm going to have to do something about it." And I said, "Hey man, I totally understand. I confided with him. I said, "Look man, I know you're doing your job. You've got a complaint. It's your job to follow through with it. I totally get it." He says, "Thank you." I said, "No problem. But if you want from the future from now, please go watch the footage. You'll see what I'm talking about." He says, "Well, what you're saying actually kind of makes more sense." He's like, "Because I couldn't understand why you would just say to some lady, 'Hey, check out my wood. You should give me a blowjob.'" I was like, "Exactly." He's like, "Okay." He goes on about his day. Now, I do want to mention from the previous one, what was originally the complaint against me about me sexually harassing an employee, this quote-unquote manager. What had happened was they asked me very honestly. They said, "Look, be honest with us. Have you had a conversation with a woman about moving in with her?" I said, moving in with one. Why would I say that? Why would I? And I said, "Actually, I know exactly what you're talking about." And he goes, "Well, okay, do explain." I said, "I can't wait to tell you." "Okay, here's what happened. I asked the lady, 'Hey, you should get a grill.' And she said, 'That's way too expensive for me. I can't afford that.' And I said, 'It is what it is.' She then says, verbatim, this is verbatim, 'Tell you what, buy me the grill and we'll figure something out.'" Those were her words. "Hey, buy me the grill, we'll figure something out." As she looks over her shoulder at me with a little smile, that little flirty, "Buy me the grill, we'll figure something out." How is that not sexual? Right? How is that not sexual? Me diffusing the situation told her, I said, "Well, I tell you what, how about we go half and half? Then we'll both own the grill. But see, I live in North Carolina. I'd have to fly all the way out here just to use the grill." I was like, "But then that would make sense. I'd have to move in. You know what? Just forget about it." That's what I said. I was diffusing her joke by making another joke, being like, "Well, we could go half and half, but well, then I'd have to move up here and just to use it, and it's not worth it." And she laughed it off. Now, here's what I think happened. If she went up to a friend and was like talking about the joke that was made and decided that my joke about me having to move up here to use the grill, all she heard was, "He wants to move in with me. He said he'd buy me a grill if I let him move in with me." That's not what I said. What I said was in context to what you said, which was basically, "Hey, if you buy me the grill, I'll be your slut for the day. I'll suck you off. I'll fuck you if you buy me a grill." She was propositioning me with a sexual exchange. I, not being a total fucking asshole, joked it off because I'm not gonna be like, "Hey, you made a sexual joke about blankety blank. I'm gonna go up front and tell them." You're a customer. I didn't know you were a manager. If I had known she was a manager, oh, you know what? I still wouldn't have. But maybe then I could be like, "Oh, I know who you're talking about. That person right there that said blank, that's the one." But by the time they found out the truth behind the statement, I was already gone. I was already going home. They already had a plane ticket with my name on it, sending me out the fucking door. So there was never going to be a truth to it. Anyways, back to what happened. So, this whole thing, apparently I thought was diffused. He was like, okay, I get it now. No big deal. It was my last day anyway, right? I go home. Go on my next show. A little more than halfway through my show, I'm kicking ass, no complaints. In fact, out of fear from that one show that I had to deal with that assistant manager and that lying manager, and then the other show where I was accused twice of something that I didn't do, I thought to myself, okay, at this point I can no longer pitch women. I'm done. I can't pitch them. There's no point. So I decide that I'm not going to pitch them anymore. I decide I'm just going to stand here and I'm just going to pitch whoever wants to come up to me and ask me about the product. Until then, I'm not even going to acknowledge them. I'm not going to wave. I'm not going to say hi. Nothing. You're getting no chance. You get no fucking chance to bullshit this. To have no fucking way of taking whatever I've said out of context. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. So I tried to play that game. Here's what happens. About halfway through the show, I get a call that from the previous show, the one where the woman hit the grill, she didn't like that I wasn't sent home immediately. So she files a complaint directly to the home office. And not only does she get the man that basically, by her words, let me off the hook in trouble, she gets him fired, but I also get sent home early again. And at this point, Costco is saying, you can never let MGTOW Jesus work here ever again. If you let him if you let him run a show at our stores, we do not want him in our stores. And if he's let into our store and he works a show in our store, we will no longer do business with you. Go fucking figure, right? Holy shit. So not only are they threatening, my company with potentially losing a contract, but I mean, like, come on. Holy fuck, how is that not power? How is that not direct consequence to the way society views women? If you can say that I'm somehow advantaged, if you can say that I'm somehow absolved, or I'm somehow at an advantage or privilege because of my gender, I would really like to see it. I would love for you to point out to me. And if you say, well, if I have to point it out to you, that just shows how ignorant you are to it. No. You have to show me. Because so far, I've had nothing but heartache and been thrown under the bus, and the companies I've worked for have had more trouble supporting me than anyone else. This is ridiculous. This has become painful in its falsehoods. It's like, are you kidding me right now? Anyways, so I get sent home. I can no longer work at Costco's, which means I don't have a consistent show now. I can't just go every other 10 days and go out and do a show. Instead, I have to hope that they'll put me on a Home Depot plan, or maybe they'll put me on a different, some special thing, and I wait for emails. I don't make any money. I have to file unemployment for lack of work. And unfortunately, that is hurting Traeger. The thing is, I almost lost my opportunity because they were going to say that that because I was denying work, that I wouldn't get unemployment. Well, I wasn't denying work. I'm just not going to drive 2.5 hours to an opportunity where I can only make maybe $400 or $500 and pay for my hotel and pay for my own food and pay for my own gas. By the time I'm done with my 4-day show at a Home Depot, I've spent more money than I'm making. And even so, even let's say I make more than I spent, how much more am I making? Right? I'm making a fraction. So, put that in perspective for you. It's like you're saying that I'm denying work. Well, that'd be like someone saying, "Hey, you can come work for me. You just have to cut off a finger. If you cut off a finger, I'll give you a job." Like, I'm not going to cut off a finger. Oh, are you denying work? Well, in that case, you should be destitute and homeless. The fuck? Anyways, thankfully, because of the way I was treated at Tivana years ago, back in 2013, and I never took the employment that was offered to me because of it. I was still able to redeem it now. So thankfully, Traeger's not having to pay for my lack of work by having to keep maintain my income. Instead, Tivana, with their sexism, is going to have to get punished by maintaining some form of income for me. Anyways, you know, but the grand scheme of things is I did nothing wrong. Yet here I am without the job opportunity that I had. I'm having to take a huge pay cut. Basically, I'm unemployed. I'm unemployed now. I have to take the pay cut because some woman somewhere didn't like how little I was punished, I guess. I don't know what her deal is. Anyways, so apparently the CEO of Costco, when the letter was pushed up to them, they say the CEO of Costco came down saying that this is law now. He is never going to be able to work at Costco. No ifs, no ands, no buts, no repercussion, no rectification, nothing, nada, zilch. Look, I just lost. I suck at life. But that's what it is, right? So I talked to Traeger and I said, hey man, is there any way I could write a letter explaining my side of things? Is there any way we can, fix the situation? They can hear my side of things and understand, and just don't send me to these stores. Don't send me to those two stores. Just don't send me to those two stores. There's like 1,000 plus stores, whatever. Send me to those. He said, there is no way, dude. Writing you a letter would do absolutely no good. Holy crap. What kind of statement is that? Writing a letter stating your side would do, quote, absolutely no good. They don't even want me to mention it. And you know why? It's probably because they were told to fire me but didn't see the need to. They were probably told, hey, you should fire him. And somebody somewhere was like, well, he's more valuable to us because he's an amazing salesman. Maybe we could put him somewhere else where he'll never cross paths with them. So if I go and make it known that I still technically work for them, then they would probably shut off all ties with Traeger altogether. Now, I don't want to do that to this company. It's a great company. It's family focused. It's more. It's about betterment in people's lives and how they eat and how they coexist. You know what? It's a great company. It deserves no fallback. None. It deserves no fallout from any of this, right? And maybe I'm being too nice by saying they don't deserve any fallout. But you know what? They're doing what they got to do. They're trying to be fair and supportive because there's no evidence supporting their claim against me. But they're also trying to appease their client, which is obviously anti-male, to the point where it's like, holy crap. And so, what do I do? What do I do? How do I fix this situation? I can't. There is no way to rectify this situation unless I go public, unless I just make this known and I don't shut up about it, and I keep pushing it, that this unfair treatment, that this ridiculous accusations that no one has any proof of, and that no one has any freaking bearing on, and even when there's an obvious motive behind someone's lies, and even when, we're talking like $1,000 piece of equipment, and she was afraid that she was going to be held responsible for it, and so lies to deface me to make sure that she doesn't feel the sting. That's exactly what's happened here. I am so disappointed, And if you guys really think I should push this, let me know. Be honest. Don't just look for the momentum. Be like, yeah, man, just fucking do it, right? I want the reality of it. I want people to really dissect if this would even be worth my time to do. Okay, and just let me know what you think in the comments below. Your input is very important to me, and maybe we can figure something out. Maybe somebody out there who's an employer that's looking for a really good salesman, and has a soft spot for the MGTOW, or has a soft spot for this kind of bullshit, says, okay, all right, you know what, man? Hey, I'm gonna hook you up, get you a good job. You do what you're saying you can do. Let's knock this out. Otherwise, man, I'm just sitting here trying to figure out how the fuck I'm going to retire at a reasonable age. Because right now, I guarantee you they want me working until I'm 80 years old, bussing their fat asses around. All right. Thanks for your time. Like I said, man, leave your comments below, like and share. I appreciate all the support that I've been getting. I'm new to the YouTube world, so I know it's already saturated, but maybe a little bit of practicality and less finesse and flash is what we need. All right, man. Thanks, guys.